Each time you tear a packet of processed food, you're tearing the layer of your gut. There's no tea on this earth can just do a detox for you or a cleanse or make you lose weight if you're not doing the other things. Bad bacteria always feeds on these sugary foods. Okay. So if you've got more bad bacteria, it's going to crave for more sugary foods as well. Your body needs a lot of nutrition for hormonal balance, for immunity, for gut health. Before mindful eating comes mindful living. Have a conscious living where you know what you're doing. We always do a blood test for them. We always do a genetic test for them. We always do a gut test as well. Okay. Because what's happening in the gut is going to show up everywhere. Look for something, where you can keep things simple. A healthy diet is important, but at the same time, healthy living is also very important. Look out for things where you get stressed out. So look for stress management, sleep management, and exercise is also very important.
Food is not just the fuel for our bodies. It's the foundation of our health, energy, and well-being. But with so much conflicting information out there, how do we differentiate between the nutrition fiction and facts? That's why we decided to talk to a nutritionist to help us break down some of the myths around food, weight loss, and overall health and well-being. From late-night cravings to the truth about superfoods, we'll basically cover it all. So, let's get started. Swati, welcome to Social Untold. How are you?
Hi, thank you so much for having me here. I'm really good, thank you.
It's great having you. Tell me, so being a nutritionist, what is your daily job? And just tell me, let's start with how did you come into this field? What was the inspiration behind this?
Sure. It actually goes few years back. So I had a background of sales and marketing, and I was actually doing my job really well. I got this passion. I was really intrigued by how does the food affect your body. And I got really passionate about learning more about, how the food has an impact on your body, on your health. And I wanted to eat healthily for myself and my family as well. So I started learning, doing some basic courses around this. And I was like, the passion came to an extent that where I wanted to share my knowledge, skills, and tools with other people as well. So I wanted to gain more qualification and credibility so that I'm able to share this information with other people. And I went on to do my master's in nutrition. I think it's my passion that got me into this career.
Okay, that's great. And so when you started, have you seen anything evolved within the nutrition field? Have you seen any changes?
Absolutely. So I started, it's been 15 years of journey, probably more than that.
Okay.
There's been a lot of change. One change that I'm going to talk about is about the fat. Because years back, we used to hear about fat where people used to run away from fat, where we used to say skinny, if you have to lose weight, fat, just stay away from fat. People going for low-fat diets, calorie counting, things like that. But now I've seen with more and more research, people are becoming aware. Don't run away from fat. Fat can be friendly. Don't run away from any of the macronutrients like carbohydrates, fats, and proteins. You can be friendly with them because they're really important for your health, for your body as well. And more or less, which is what I tell people as well about calorie counting. Don't do the calorie counting, which is what we used to hear years back, calorie counting, calorie in and out. And I've seen so much more awareness where people are becoming more aware. It's not the calories, it's the nutrition that's more important.
Okay. And have you seen any difference between what people used to believe? Like you said, people used to believe if you want to stay skinny, stay away from fats, right? Is there anything else that has become a myth now in the health industry that you've seen in all these years that has changed for people?
As I said, fat makes you fat is a big myth. Running away from carbohydrates. So we have been demonizing carbohydrates for very, very long time. People saying don't eat the carbohydrates. People going on. I'm not against ketogenic diet. It can be good for some, but we are running away completely from the carbohydrates as well. So that could probably a myth as well.
Yeah.
And as I said, calorie counting has been the biggest myth.
Yeah. Is there any, I would say, like a nutrition tip that actually works, but like people think it's not there, or maybe people just don't think about it, they have no idea. But is there anything that you'd like to tell our audience, like this thing really works and they should try it?
Yeah. As I said about not under eating. So
Not
don't
under-eating,
have to
okay.
count the calories.
Yeah.
Stay away from thinking about what am I eating, like how many calories am I putting on.
Yeah.
What is more important is, are you eating the foods that are nutrient dense?
Okay.
We don't think about that. Still, people think, like I just have to, if I'm eating less and going for exercise,
Yeah.
going to the gym for longer hours, I'm going to lose weight.
Yeah.
It can happen for the immediate way. So
Yeah.
you might see some results.
Yeah.
But in the longer way, it's not sustainable.
Okay.
And it might do some harm to you than good. So that's why I say, this is one big thing that please don't undereat. Your body needs a lot of nutrition for hormonal balance, for immunity, for gut health. And there's lots of functions that, obviously is based on the nutrition that you eat.
So most of us are all eating wrong, basically.
I wouldn't say eating wrong, but it's just the awareness that, we're still thinking that if I have to lose weight, if I have to look good, skinny is the way to go. But now I understand there's a lot of more awareness by some of the really good work by the doctors, like Stacey Sims is a really, really good doctor who talks about, don't just think about the calories, think about the nutrition. So we are doing what we can, and people get influenced. There are a lot of influencers out there who will talk about these skinny diets, lose weight in 7 days, detox teas, cleanse teas. So we get influenced by these things as well. So it's not that we're completely wrong, but we just have to do our own research as well and find out what's credible information and then go by that.
So can we say that these diets can be good and relevant for some people, but it can't be for all? So it's not like an influencer came up and made a video on something and all the followers, I don't know, millions or whatever, they all start following the same. That's not something that we should do, right? Obviously, if you want to try something, I would say maybe speak to your doctor, a specialist, and then see what they suggest. If they tell you, yes, this is something that you can try, this can be good for you, then obviously go for it. But if not, then obviously let's just not go with everything that's on social media.
Absolutely right, because there's all sorts of information on the social media out there, how do you know whether it's correct or not correct for you? So we need to, so then there's something called as fad diet and science-based information. So for fad diets, I would say something that gives you a quick fix. That's what I call is a fad diet. That you can lose weight in 7 days, cleanse diet, teas and detox. There's no tea on this earth can just do a detox for you or a cleanse or make you lose weight if you're not doing the other things. So there are fad diets out there as well. There are some diets which may be good. So things like intermittent fasting could be good for some people, may not work with everyone. Low carbohydrate diet would work for some people, people with insulin resistance, type 2 diabetes, people who have got blood, they're not able to manage the blood sugar levels. It may work for them, not work for everyone. So as you rightly pointed out, it's best to consult a healthcare professional, find out what works for you. So when somebody comes to me, we always do a blood test for them. To see what deficiencies have you got. We always do a genetic test for them because you and me are born with different genes. Of course, we are born with the genes. We can't change that. But there are certain things we can do to switch on and off the genes. And as a layman, you would know what genes you're born with. For an example, if you're born with certain genes where you can't metabolize fat, and because you've seen an influencer or somebody on the social media talking about ketogenic diet, and you start following that, your body can't metabolize fat. So you're going to not lose the weight, but put on more weight. And then you'll think, why? It's working for everyone else, not for me. Because it's not a bespoke plan for you. We always do a gut test as well. Because what's happening in the gut is going to show up everywhere.
Oh my God, I hear that so much on social media these days. And my mom keeps telling me as well. Please elaborate on this because I want to know if this is actually true. So
Yeah,
gut actually tells you about your health?
absolutely right. Gut, I always say, is your central organ, and gut is has a direct relationship with all different organs as well. So it's directly connected with your brain, and it's actually called a second brain as well, and it's connected to the brain via the vagus nerve. Okay, and it's a bi-directional information. So what's happening in the brain will have an effect on your gut. So for instance, sometimes when you get stressed out or you're going for exam, do you
Yeah.
get butterflies in your stomach?
Yes.
Why? It's because of the vagus nerve.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
And then sometimes when you've not eaten well, or your gut microbiome is not healthy, or let's say you skipped a meal or something, do
Yeah.
you become grumpy?
Yes, I
Yeah,
do.
and it stresses you
Yeah.
out because of this vagus nerve. Similarly, the gut is connected with our immune system as well. So if you're not keeping the gut healthy, then it'll have a major impact on the immune system, because 70% of our immune cells are produced in the gut.
Okay.
And 70% of the serotonin, which is a feel-good hormone, is produced in the gut as well. That's why
Okay.
we feel stressed out if the gut is not very healthy.
Hmm.
Also, I have a lot of clients coming to me because I work with a skin clinic, and I see a lot of clients who go to the skin clinic for the treatments, topical treatments.
Yeah.
But then they come and see me what's happening inside the gut. So I say half of the things you've done by doing the topical treatment on
Yeah.
the skin, that's fine, but half can only be achieved if you keep your gut healthy,
Yeah.
if you make sure that if you've got nutritional deficiencies, if you fill up the gaps there as well.
Yeah.
So gut, I would say, is a very, very important organ if you want to manage everything and anything in your body.
Yeah. So it's probably a huge thing. Tell us how to keep our gut happy. How can we do that?
It's very simple. If we go to the basic ways that we used to live years back, our ancestors used to live.
Yeah.
If we go to the basics, it becomes very simple. And if we follow the simple approach, we can keep our gut healthy. So eating natural, eating whole foods,
Okay.
staying away from ultra processed foods, so all those packaged foods,
Yeah.
crisp biscuits, things that are high in trans fat, staying away from that. Eating things like prebiotics and probiotics.
Okay.
So probiotics are more like fermented foods, like sauerkraut, kimchi, kombucha, miso,
Yeah.
yogurts. And even in the South Asian culture, we eat a lot of pickles as well.
Yeah.
And then things like, where you're fermenting your batter to make the dosas and idlis,
Yeah.
that is fermented. So that is like a probiotic for us. So it's like the
Okay.
live bacteria going into the gut.
Yeah.
Because the gut is made of trillions of bacteria. Some is healthy, some is not so healthy. So our job should be to eat the foods that actually increases the healthy bacteria and reduces the bad bacteria. Yeah.
Okay.
So probiotics is one thing. Then the whole grains is really good,
Okay.
which gives us the fiber, and which is also known as the prebiotics as well. So if you want to eat more prebiotics, then you eat more fibrous rich foods, so lentils, pulses.
Yeah.
Then you've got garlic, chicory, leeks, onions.
Yeah.
All that is very high in prebiotics. At the same time, eat the colorful foods. So they are high in antioxidants, or something called as polyphenols.
Okay.
So vibrant fruits, colorful fruits and vegetables if you eat,
Yeah.
that's going to make your gut microbiome diverse as well.
Okay.
And then there's something called as gut-loving foods. So something like, I'm not sure if you've heard about that, but bone broth. So
Bone
that,
broth, okay.
yeah. So bone broth is where you're boiling the bones for 48 hours and then you eat that soup. That's
Okay.
bone broth. Basically, that is really, really rich in glutamine. And that gives you, so you've got your gut wall. So you need to heal the gut wall. You need glutamine for that. So
Okay.
bone broth is really high in that. So omega-3s and fiber and all those things will
Yeah.
keep your gut healthy.
Okay, that's very helpful. Yeah, that's very helpful. Okay. Coming back to carbs, can we still eat carbs and avoid and have lose weight basically? Is it possible?
Absolutely. It is absolutely possible that you eat the carbs and you can still lose weight. As I said, we've been demonizing the carbs for many years, but people don't realize carbs is very important. It's loaded with fiber.
Yeah.
It's the quality of the carbs and then the portion control that's important.
Okay.
So when I say quality, if you're going for whole grains, more complex carbs, so the browner versions, so brown rice, brown pasta, if you're going for quinoa, buckwheat, amaranth, teff, all that is really whole grains and whole the low glycemic index carbs. When I say low glycemic index, there are two different types of carbs. Something that quickly releases the glucose in the blood and something that takes a longer period of time.
Okay.
So we are looking for foods that which takes longer period of time to release the glucose, because then we are able to sustain our blood glucose levels for longer. We feel fuller for longer because they are high in fiber, and then we don't feel hungry very quickly. So if you go for those whole grain carbs, and also portion control is very important. So I've seen when people eat carbs, it's the plate full of rice, and they will probably put 2 or 3 spoons of maybe curry or lentils on top. But the plate is full of rice. So that's where we need to make a change. So think of an eat well plate, which I tell people.
Okay.
Visualize this, that you portion, so quarter of your plate should be whole grain carbohydrates.
Okay.
Quarter of your plate would be a serving, 1 or 2 servings of protein, which could be plant-based, your tofu, cheese, paneer, or it could be meat, chicken, fish. And then half of your plate should be green leafy vegetables and non-starchy vegetables. And then you add some healthy fats to it. So you're cooking in healthy fats like olive oil or ghee and things like that. So if you think like that, and if you're having a portion control of your carbs, then it's absolutely fine, because it's going to give you fiber and that's going to sustain you for longer periods of time, and you don't feel hungry very often.
Okay, makes sense. Yeah, I'm guilty of having a lot, like, bigger portion of rice. I love rice. But I've definitely cut down on my portion for, I don't know, for the past year or two. But I used to eat like a plate full of rice, and guilty.
And I would say that's not only you, it's, I think, to do with the Southeast Asian population. It's just, I think we've been brought up like that. Lots of, we have to have rice. And in some areas of Southeast Asia, we have rice and chapati both. Which is our staple diet. And then we add some curry to it. And vegetables, not so much.
We're not too keen on salads.
Absolutely. So if you change things around, then you can enjoy your carbs as well.
True, makes sense. What is your take on intermittent fasting? Is it really a game changer, or is it overhyped?
As I was saying earlier, intermittent fasting can be both.
Okay.
It can be a game changer for some, but it can be overhyped for the other population.
So can you differentiate how?
I'd like to just briefly touch upon what is intermittent fasting. So intermittent fasting comes in 2 ways. One is called 5:2, where you are eating normal, like one of the dietary approaches. If it's like low carbohydrate, or one of the, whatever you do for the rest 5 days, it's fine. On 2 days, you're eating about 800 calories. So that's one type of intermittent fasting. And not many people are aware of that. The other side is where you are fasting for longer periods. So you're fasting for about 16 to 18 hours, and then you're eating within a very shorter window. That's another type of intermittent fasting. So I normally say, so with intermittent fasting, if somebody has got insulin resistance, if they are not able to manage their blood sugar levels really well, or if they've got pre-diabetes, type 2 diabetes, and the other population that can get away with that is a younger population. So if things like that, then it's fine. You can do the intermittent fasting. It can really work wonders for this population. Because with insulin resistance and type 2 diabetes, what we're saying is that it's to do with the insulin. You want to give rest to the insulin so that body does not have to produce insulin too much. Because that's where the insulin resistance comes in. Your body is either not producing enough insulin, or it's not working that well.
Yeah.
So you want to give some rest to the insulin. So if you're doing intermittent fasting or fasting for longer period,
Yeah.
your body does not have to produce the insulin.
Okay.
That's fine.
Yeah.
You know, for that population, yes, intermittent fasting work really well.
Yeah.
Or if you're not able to manage your blood sugar levels really well, or if you're the younger population and you're trying out different things, that's fine. You can do the intermittent fasting.
Yeah.
Having said that, on the other side of the population is women specifically who are going through some hormonal imbalancing. So it could be any stage of life. If it could be either perimenopausal, which actually starts from the age of 35 onwards, menopausal or postmenopausal women.
Okay.
For this segment of the population, I say stay away from intermittent fasting.
Okay.
It may not work well for you because in this stage of your life, your estrogen levels are dropping, your progesterone levels are dropping, and what's going up is the cortisol level, which is the stress hormone. Yeah. So if you're chronically stressed and if your body is producing way too much cortisol, and if you're fasting on top, and that is actually adding fuel to the stress, then your body becomes more stressed out as well.
Yeah.
So then you see more hormonal imbalances, and then you see other things going wrong if you're adding more stress to the cortisol levels.
Yeah.
So for that segment, I'll say don't do intermittent fasting. What you could do is, if you want to fast for longer hours, just try to eat earlier in the evening. So maybe have your meal by 6:37.
Okay.
And then for the next day, whatever time you have your normal breakfast, just go for the normal breakfast. The other thing for this segment is, which is the recent study, where women used to exercise on fasted state. Where they used to do intermittent fasting, they're not eating, and then they're doing exercise. Similar thing can happen. It can add more to the cortisol levels.
Okay.
It's going to imbalance the hormones more. So I tell the women, specifically for this segment of the population, that never exercise on the fasted state as well.
That's very helpful, because a lot of these things I see people have been doing for so many years. And it's wrong.
Yeah, absolutely, including myself. I used to do that. I used to always exercise on fasted state.
Yeah.
Because for us women, it's like first thing in the morning, before everyone wakes up, you want to probably, get done with your exercise. You don't have time to cook, or you just think it'll be better. My body's going to use the fat reserves as a fuel.
Yeah.
So it's better to exercise on the fasted state.
Yeah.
But now the research is saying 30-30. I was listening to Dr. Stacey Sims, which propagates this 30:30.
Yeah.
What that means is that you need to have 30 grams of protein within 30 minutes of waking up.
Oh, okay.
So if you have that and then you do the exercise,
Yeah.
you're going to see some quicker results.
Okay. That's good to know. Tell me, why do we have these late night cravings? I'm sure a lot of people have that issue. Late night, you're munching on something sweet, or like you said, processed food. Why do we get that urge? And how can we stop it?
Yeah, that's a very good question. And a lot of people come to me asking about, why am I getting cravings?
Yeah.
But would you say, is it just late night? We might get cravings anytime, isn't it?
Actually, true.
Sometimes when we are just sitting at 4 o'clock in the evening, we have that dip in our blood glucose levels, and we're going to go for a cup of coffee, and then we have biscuit or cake with that.
Yeah.
Isn't it? So the cravings can happen anytime. So it's very important to identify first, why am I getting these cravings? Yeah. Which is what the functional medicine comes into place, where we find out what is the root cause. So when we get these cravings, first find out, am I eating enough nutrient dense diet throughout my day? Remember where I said don't undereat. If the body is not getting nourishment, body is going to crave for foods. Human body and human mind is like that.
Yeah.
We're always looking for comfort. Whether if, we're looking for safe space, whether if you're stressed out, we're looking for comfort in somebody else.
Yeah.
We want to be around people, or we go to comfort foods. We've been trained like that. Yeah. So we're always looking for comfort foods when we're stressed out. So cravings, first find out, did you eat enough proteins throughout the day? Did you have enough good healthy fats? Did you have enough fiber during the day?
Yeah.
Which actually keeps you feeling fuller for longer, and it gives you more satiety. And then you don't get these cravings. That's first point. are you managing your blood sugar levels really well? As I said, if you're having really high glycemic index foods, simple foods like pizzas, burgers, white rice, white bread, white pastas, you're going to see your blood glucose levels goes really up, but then there's a quick dip in your blood glucose levels. If that happens, then body needs more food. It starts craving for the food.
Okay.
Yeah. Third thing is look at the gut as well. Am I giving enough gut-friendly foods to my gut? Because if gut is not healthy, then there is a imbalance in the microbiome. And when there's an imbalance and when you have more bad bacteria in the gut, bad bacteria always feeds on these sugary foods. Okay. So if you've got more bad bacteria, it's going to crave for more sugary foods as well. Yeah, so look at that. Then at the end of the day, when we sit down, we sometimes think that, we try to replay the whole day. Then we might just think, how did the whole day went? And for us, our human tendency is we look out for all the negative things that happened during the day. That adds to the stress. And then we get more stressed out. We look for more emotional eating. And that's where we get the cravings. Remember, I said gut is related to your brain. Yeah. So when we think about these emotional stresses as well, we think, oh, it didn't go really well, or we get stressed about the future, where do we go to? More comforting foods. And that's where we tend to crave for more junk foods or sugary foods in the evening. So it's like you need to look out at a lot of different things. It's not one thing that could be the reason. It could be a lot of different things that could be the reasons for your cravings or eating junk food, or people getting addicted to sugars as well.
Okay, yeah. So basically you're saying our feelings affect our cravings. So if we're like kind of stressed, like you said, we would do emotional eating.
Absolutely.
Okay. And if I talk about myself, if I've had let's say grilled chicken with some salad in my dinner, is that enough for me to not have cravings later on?
So it's not just the dinner. You have to look at the whole day as well.
Whole day.
As I
So
said.
what I've had. Okay.
And what I normally tell people is breakfast is a really good start. So have the breakfast full of protein, healthy fats, and some whole grain complex carbohydrates.
Okay.
So for an example, if you're having one sourdough toast, you can put some cooked egg on top, and then you can have avocado on the side. And then also you can have some Greek yogurt with berries added to it. Okay. You can add some seeds and nuts as well. So that will be full meal, nutritionally complete. And then you're not going to get cravings until you'll be full until the lunchtime. If you have similar meal for lunchtime as well, where you've got protein, healthy fats, and whole grain carbs, then you're not going to get cravings, or you're not going to feel hungry for your snacks in the evening. And then you have similar your dinner as well. So like, let's say you said grilled chicken with salad, that's absolutely fine. Okay. It's what time you eat, and then what you're doing later on. What are you watching on the Netflix? Is that what's adding to the cortisol? All that. Okay. But eating is very important, but then you also see the psychological side as well. You can do some meditation, before going to bed. Or are you doing enough exercise as well? You keeping your mind healthy by doing exercise. So if you're doing all that, and then you have a good dinner, as you mentioned, the chances are that you're going to get very less cravings.
So basically, I did want to come on strategies of how to break this pattern of emotional eating. So this is what you recommend: eat well throughout the day. Do some exercise, and if you can, obviously do meditation before you go to bed.
Absolutely. And the other thing I'd like to say here is, how many of us basically identify, is it emotional eating or is it biological eating? So we categorize...
What's a biological eating?
Yeah, so we categorize hunger into two different categories. So one is the physiological hunger. The second is the psychological hunger. Okay. The physiological is where your body is telling you to eat. So you can find out by, how your body is giving you the signals. Sometimes you get those your tummy's making growling noises,
Yeah.
or you've had a long gap between your meals,
Yeah.
that's when you get hungry for your you know that you're ready for the next meal.
Yeah.
So that's the body's way to send you the signal.
Okay.
So that's physiological hunger.
Mm-hmm.
The second is where your mind is telling you to eat, which could be because of different reasons. I'm bored, so I'm hungry. I am emotionally stressed, I'm hungry. It's my habit to have coffee at 4 o'clock in the evening, and I have to have a snack with that, so I'm hungry.
Yeah.
So there could be different reasons. So first is identify whether it's emotional eating, and how you could do is by maintaining a food and mood diary. That's a good way to start.
And a difficult one to start.
But it'll be very good for you to see for yourself.
Yeah.
Is it emotional eating, and why am I eating each time? So food and mood diaries, each time you eat or drink something, do it for 3 days and you'll be able to see for yourself.
Okay.
Each time you eat or drink anything, write what you're eating or drinking, and write next to it, why am I drinking or eating this? Is it because I'm hungry, or is it because I'm bored, or I'm stressed? Okay. So that's a good way to first identify whether it's emotional eating. Once you've identified, then you will be able to tackle it. Then you, what I normally suggest is, once you've identified, next time when you think that you're going for emotional eating, take a pause, take a break, and think for yourself, why am I eating? Is it because I'm stressed out? If you're stressed out and you're going for the comfort foods, can I go for something else? Can something else be my distraction? Example, can I go for a walk? Connect with the nature. That's the best way to distract yourself.
Get out of the house.
Or pick up a phone, talk to somebody. Or engage yourself in some hobbies. Knitting, dancing, going to gym,
painting,
anything. Listening to music, that could be a great distraction as well. So look for the distractions yourself and see what you love doing, because next time that you're going to go for emotional craving or emotional hunger, you can identify, you've got something in your toolbox where you can go to when you are having the emotional hunger as well.
Yeah, makes sense. Okay, so basically these are the ways to help you get used to mindful eating, basically, to have a healthy lifestyle.
So before mindful eating comes mindful living. Have a conscious living where you know what you're doing. If you're living in the present, most of us don't even live in the present. We don't even realize, subconsciously we're just doing so many things without realizing what's happening. Without realizing, we just keep eating. Whatever is available, we just eat that. Because even if we're not hungry, we just think, oh, I'm just bored. Let me just eat a pack of crisps. So subconsciously or unconsciously, we're eating. We're doing a lot of things. So if you do mindful living, you're living in the present moment, you're more conscious of your acts, then you'll be able to take a pause next time this happens. Find out why you're doing certain things, what you're doing. And if there's a genuine reason, go for it. If you think it's not genuine, then you have to have certain distractions. And what I tell my clients is, if you keep doing this mood and food diary, you identify if it's emotional hunger, you look out for the distractions. It's not easy. I'd say it's easier said than done. But if you keep persevering this, you do this for at least 21 days, it'll become a habit. So science says it takes 21 days for anything to become a habit. Then it'll just go in your subconscious mind. After 21 days, you will see for yourself, I'm stressed out. Rather than going for the comforting foods, you will automatically go for some other distraction. Something that you love to do.
Okay. True. So let me ask you, for myself, sometimes I do this, like this, I am bored, okay, let's just eat. But that's basically like, I don't know, once in 3 months or something. That's not a problem, right?
That's not a problem at all.
Okay.
Doing anything in moderation is not a problem. Like, we're human beings, end of the day. We're going to try different things. We're going to follow different things as well. So it's not a problem. If you do anything in moderation, eating junk food in moderation is not a problem. So if you want to have cheat days, if you want to enjoy those biscuits, cakes, why not? The other thing I say is, if you think that's if it's becoming a pattern, that's when it's a problem. So you need to identify. B, if you really like these things, then why don't you start cooking these things at home? look for the recipes where you can make a healthier version of these. So you can really bake really nice chocolate cake by using almond flour instead of the normal flour, by using olive oil instead of the butter, using dates instead of normal sugar. So if you cook more of these things at home and have that in moderation, it's not a problem at all.
Yeah, you're actually right. We can actually eat whatever we want, but just make it healthy and cook it at home yourself.
Absolutely. Because it's a very good quote that I had read somewhere where it says, each time you tear a packet of processed food, you're tearing the layer of your gut.
Oh my God. Okay.
So just keep that in mind.
Keep that in mind, guys. Okay. Tell me about one food which can change your health forever. Is there like a, I don't know, superfood that is really good for you, or something which is really bad for you?
It's difficult to say if there is one specific food like that.
Yeah.
I say go for macronutrients. They're very essential. So I can't pinpoint that. Just there are a lot of superfoods, which is like blueberries and chicory and probiotics and prebiotics, but I can't specifically pinpoint that if you just have that, it's going to improve your health. Yeah, because health is multifactorial. You need to look at what you're eating overall, and then your lifestyle as well. You're stressed out, no matter how good you eat. But if you're leading a life which is full of stress, and you're not exercising, you're not going out and connecting with the nature, it's not going to make any difference. So in that context, I'll say there's no superfood, but if you eat a more balanced diet, which is got whole grains, which has got healthy fats, which is coming from omega-3 fatty acids like fish, salmon, olive oil, avocado, nuts and seeds. Then you have healthy and clean sources of protein, whether it's the chicken, fish, or plant-based sources like tofu, lentils. If you're keeping it well balanced, that's what's going to have an impact on your health. On the flip side, I'd say if staying away from foods, absolutely. You need to stay away from ultra-processed foods. As I said, tearing a packet of ultra-processed foods is going to tear your gut. So stay away from ultra-processed foods as much as possible. So anything that's been processed and that comes in the packet, stay away from that.
Okay.
Yeah. Also, if you can stay away from things like alcohol, smoking, all that would also help, improve your health as well.
Okay. A lot of people watching us would be wondering, okay, you're giving us all these tips, eat healthy, but a lot of people cannot even, the people have issues with financial, so people think, eating healthy maybe could be, expensive thing, so they can't afford it.
Yeah.
So what do you have to say about that? Is it possible to eat healthy but still not break your bank?
Absolutely. This is very much possible. And I totally can relate with this question, because I get this question from my clients a lot, that, we think that healthy eating is not budget friendly. No, that's not true. Because as I said, if you go to the basics, which is what our ancestors used to do, if you eat that sort of foods, it is very much possible. So with budget friendly foods would be, I tell people, buy things in larger packs.
Okay.
So if you go to places like Costco, or even any supermarkets for that matter, and if you get bigger packs of things, that'll be cost effective. The other thing I say is buy the frozen foods. So you can buy some frozen meat, uncooked meat, fish, chicken. It's bigger pack, it'll be cost effective. So put that in the freezer. Buy bigger packs of your grains as well. Then you can also buy some packaged, as in the frozen vegetables and your fruits as well. So that comes in bigger pack. It's cost effective. It's not going to go off quickly. Put that in the freezer. So each time you want to make a meal, take out the things from the freezer, and then you can just add some oil and herbs to it, and then get your meal ready. So there are a lot of different ways where you can buy the bigger packs. Buy that in discounts, put it in the freezer or in your pantry, and then whenever you are there to cook a meal, then it's readily available.
And is there a time for putting food in the freezer? Like, I'm sure we shouldn't leave them for months or I don't know, for a year and then still keep using them. Is that still okay?
That is when you're saying the cooked meals that we are making,
Yeah.
isn't it? Yes, absolutely. If you are cooking the meals,
Yeah.
if you can cook it every day, that's the best way. But
Okay.
I know it's not possible.
It's not possible.
So
Yeah.
I tell my professional clients, people, or my parent clients who are very busy in
Yeah.
day-to-day life, I say do batch cooking.
Okay.
Yeah, find out some time over the weekend, do batch cooking, and you can preserve that in the glass container.
Okay.
Put it in the fridge. That can stay in the fridge for 3 to 5 days. So your
Okay.
whole week will be sorted.
Okay.
If you want to put it in the freezer, try to use it within 2 weeks, not longer than that.
Okay.
Yeah, if you've cooked it at home from scratch,
Yeah.
and it's not something that you've bought from outside.
Yeah.
If you've cooked it from scratch, then leave it in the fridge for 3 to 5 days. And then in the freezer, don't leave it for anything longer than 15 days.
Okay. And for when people, obviously you suggested do bulk shopping, right?
Mhm.
So if anyone is buying, let's say, a lot of chicken or fish, which is raw, right?
Yeah.
And they put it in the freezer, how long is it good to store them? Like, let's say maybe you can say, okay, finish it in 2 months or 3 months or in a month. Is there a time span on that as well?
I just say stick to the expiry date, what's on the pack.
Okay.
Yeah. Because you're going to get it from the freezer itself.
Yeah.
So it's coming from the frozen area.
Yeah.
And then you're going to just take it home and then freeze it yourself.
Yeah.
Just go by the expiry date.
Okay.
And don't eat anything after the expiry date, or best before dates.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. Are there any so-called healthy foods which aren't actually healthy for us and we should completely avoid them?
As I said, there's a trending, this trend on social media these days about detox diet, detox teas, weight loss teas, cleanse teas. People think that it can be a quick fix. It can give them quick results.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say don't have it, but don't think of the quick results. Because there are other ways to get the results when you're looking for weight loss or detox. Just by having a tea, you're not going to get weight loss, or it's not going to detox your liver. Basically, when we talk about detox, we're talking about detoxification of the liver. Body's very clever at detoxification itself. But having said that, you also need to look at what you're eating, your lifestyle, and other things. So if you take care of that, and if you take care of healthy eating, I think that is more important rather than looking for the quick fixes. So stay away from anything like where they make claims that you can get quick fixes or quick results, because they can be really expensive at the end of the day as well.
Yeah, true. Talking about claims, what do you have to say about the labels on the packages of food? Do you think they are misleading sometimes, making people think, something is healthy, but it's not?
That's a very good question. What is misleading is sometimes there's traffic lights.
Okay.
Have you seen the traffic lights on the label? So you've got traffic. So in UK, we have to have the traffic light labels on the front of the pack, and then we have the other labels at the back of the pack. So things like your ingredients, your nutrition claims, which says no added sugar, or very low fat, low sugar, and things like that. So that is the nutrition claim. Then we have the nutrition information, which is like fiber, calories, carbohydrates, and things like that, and then the full ingredient list. So what I tell people is that if there is a claim on the packet which says no sugar, no added sugar, and I've seen that on fruit juices, and that just boils me up when it says no added sugar on a fruit juice, and people buying it in bulk thinking that and it also says 1 of your 5 a day. They need to check what's at the back of the label, how much sugar it's got, how much protein it's got, not the juice, but in other things as well, how much fiber it's got. So anything that has got sugar of 5 grams and less in 100 grams of that food item, then it's low sugar. I'd say go for that. So 5 grams and less per 100 grams is a low sugar. If you're looking at the fiber content, then we're looking at 6 grams of fiber and above per 100 grams. then it's a healthier
It's
one.
a good one. Okay.
Yeah. And then you're also checking at the protein as well. The higher the protein, the better.
Yeah.
The other thing you need to look at is the ingredient list.
Okay.
The longer the ingredient list, that means it's highly processed.
Oh,
And
okay.
how many times we will actually look at the ingredient
We
list?
don't. Yeah.
Or sometimes we can't even pronounce some of the things
Yeah,
on the ingredient
true.
list. So I tell people, the shorter the ingredient list, if it's like 2, 3, 4 items,
Yeah.
go for that.
Yeah.
Look at the nutrition information.
Yeah.
Don't go by the claims and don't go by the traffic lights. Because if you see the traffic lights, people sometimes buy by the traffic lights. It can be green on the front,
Yeah.
but it can be really high in sugar. At the same time, it can be red on the front for things like high-fat milk, chicken, fish, nuts and seeds.
Yeah.
And people will think it's not healthy.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's healthy fats.
Okay.
So stay away from that, stay away from the claims, but look
Yeah.
at the back of the package.
Okay. And just when we were discussing this, something hits my mind. Have you heard about this? There's a drug in the market right now, and all obese people or people who's having difficulties with, losing weight.
Yeah.
They're trying this drug and they're losing weight very fast.
Yes.
Do you know about that? I can't remember the name of the drug.
I'm not going to say the name
Yeah.
because it comes by different brands and we're not, criticizing any brand here.
But is this way healthy to lose weight?
So I would say, so basically this drug came into the market for type 2 diabetes.
Okay.
So it was for people who could not control their blood sugar levels.
Yeah.
That's how it came into the market. And then they saw one of the side effects as weight loss.
Okay.
And then people started using that for weight loss. And I have seen, because I work with the GPs as well, so I've seen GPs prescribing this for people who've got very high BMI.
Yeah.
So about 45 and above. That's fine. I'd say if people have tried everything under the sun, for high BMIs I'm talking about, 45 and above, and they haven't been successful and the only thing left for them is a surgery, then I would say going on that drug, which has been prescribed by the doctor, it's fine for a short period.
Okay.
And I do get clients who are on that drug coming to me, and then we put them on a healthy diet and healthy lifestyle protocol.
Yeah.
So I say it needs to go hand in hand with changing your lifestyle and your diet as well, so that it becomes long term. So if they're taking the drug but they're doing the rest of the things, fine, sticking to the portion sizes, sticking to healthier diet, sticking to the lifestyle, then it's easy for them to come off the drug. And then they know it becomes more sustainable because they've already started doing the healthier diets and stuff. On the other side, where people think it's a quick fix, I'd say, as I said earlier, there's no quick fix. You might see very immediate results, but then always keep in mind and then do your own checks as well, that every drug comes with some side effects.
Okay.
There's no drug on the market which will not come with a side effect.
Yeah.
We may not know about the side effects right now, but it can come in the future. You never know. So if you are somebody who has tried everything, but you're high BMI and it's been prescribed by the doctor, go for it. But at the same time, do the healthy things as well.
Okay.
But if you're doing just as a quick fix thing, then I'd say not one of the
Options
easy,
for you,
one of the options or the healthiest things to do.
Healthiest things. Okay. Yeah, makes sense. Because one of my friends, she's had issues with losing weight, and she's been, apparently, according to her, she's been trying, but she said she's tried everything and she still can't lose weight, and she's still like kind of gaining more. So she was thinking about this option. I was like, listen, this sounds like a quick fix. Don't do this. I get scared of all these things.
Yeah.
So she's kind of like stopped now, but I think somewhere down the line it's still on her mind. So maybe she should just speak to her doctor first and then see if they recommend it to her.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, as I said, speak to a healthcare professional. If she's tried everything under the sun and it's not working, then she can probably speak to a functional medicine practitioner. Because as I said, with functional medicine, we always try to find out the root cause of the problem.
Yeah.
So you might just be thinking that it's just the diet I need to change. But as I said, diet's not going to work if you're leading a very stressful life.
Yeah.
So you need to look at
Makes
all
sense.
aspects.
Yeah.
You know, are you really stressed out? Are you exercising enough? Are you connecting yourself with the nature?
Yeah.
You know, are you in the calmer senses? And then are you eating well and enough? As I said, under eating is never gonna get you the results.
Yeah.
So are you eating enough? And look at the hormone balance as well. Your hormones are they balanced?
Yeah.
If you've put a tick to all those boxes, then you are more than welcome to go to the doctor and speak to them that I've tried everything. There's a tick next to all the boxes and nothing is working, and then can you prescribe me? And if they feel you are eligible, then they might.
Okay. Just to give our viewers some inspiration, what is your a 15-minute, healthy meal? What is your go-to meal for that?
Okay. For me, I always keep pre-made things in my fridge.
Okay.
Yeah. But let's say if I've had some pre-boiled grain already, like a quinoa, and being vegetarian, my go-to would be tofu and lentils.
Yeah.
So if I have to put everything together, then I'll have some pre-packaged salad.
Okay.
So I'll get some greens in a bowl.
Yeah.
So it's more like a Buddha bowl.
Okay.
So I'll put my green leafy vegetables.
Yeah.
I'll have my boiled quinoa or any grain that you like. So I'll have some as a quarter of the portion.
Okay.
I'll add some tofu. If I've got time, then I can just quickly grill it in my air fryer.
Yeah.
Or if I've pre-cooked it, I just add tofu to it.
Yeah.
And then I also add avocado. So at each meal, I'll have some source of fat.
Okay.
So it could be either half of the avocado, I'm adding some nuts and seeds, I'm adding some olive oil to my meals. So I'll have some healthy fat. So that would be my, putting things together will be my go-to meal.
Yeah.
If you fancy having a hot meal, then get all these ingredients that I've just specified, put them in a pot, cook them together, and that'll be your meal ready in 15 minutes.
Okay. Yeah, makes sense. Okay. Tell me about these meal replacement shakes.
Mm-hmm.
Are they a good option for people on the go? Because sometimes people don't have enough time to cook in the morning, especially when they're heading to, I don't know, uni or work or anywhere. Is that a good option?
I'd say it can be a good option. There's pros and cons to it.
Okay.
So meal replacement, basically, you take it as a nutritionally complete.
Yeah.
It's got all the nutrients, your proteins, fats, and your carbohydrates. It's nutritionally complete, nutritionally dense. It's got some multivitamins and minerals as well. You've got portion, so you know how much portion I'm taking.
Yeah.
I'd say that's the pros. The cons on the flip side is, has it got a lot of additives? Has it got a lot of preservatives? Is it really high in sugar? How much protein it's got, and what's the quality of the protein?
Okay.
So you need to look at all that. And how do you find that? Just by looking at the labeling.
Labels,
Okay?
Yeah.
So it can be good. So if you go for a brand or option which has got, healthier protein, it's very low in sugar, it's got high low glycemic index carbohydrates and things like that.
Yeah.
If it's plant-based, it's even better.
Okay.
So if it's got all those things, then it's not a problem in going for it once a while when you're on the go.
Okay.
Traveling, that's fine once a while. At least it's better than going for a pizza or a burger on the go.
Yeah.
Or a packet of crisps. If you are a student, you haven't got time in the morning, once a while it's fine. The other thing I tell people is, if you really think that you're one of those who can't eat a big breakfast and you like to take a meal replacement like this, why don't you make it at home? So make a protein shake at home.
Okay.
You can do it a night before, and then in the morning you're free. You can take it in the beaker and then you're good to go. So you add some Greek yogurt, you can add some milk of your choice, so almond milk, coconut milk, oat milk, any milk of your choice. You add some nuts and seeds to it. You can add some spinach, some protein powder, some berries, mix it all together.
Yeah.
And then you can take it, and then it's good to go on the go.
Okay, yeah, makes sense. Because, like you said, there's a lot of people who don't want to eat something heavy in the breakfast, especially not right exactly when they wake up.
Or they don't have time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. So, what is the simplest way to start living healthy? If you have to tell our audience, what would you recommend? If they want to start living healthy today, what
Yeah.
should they do?
I just say keep it very, very simple.
Yeah.
Keep it to the basics. Yeah. If you keep things very simple, then you're not going to be overwhelmed. Yeah. If you have to make just one change,
Yeah.
just add vegetables and protein at each meal time, if you could do that.
Okay.
Also try to balance your meals. If you like to have your carbohydrates, go for whole grain carbohydrates. Yeah. Just think of the eat well plate.
Yeah.
So quarter of your portion of your plate is your whole grain carbohydrates. Another quarter is your protein source, which can come from meat or from plant-based. Add some healthy fats to your meals, and half of your plate, if you add vegetables, it could either be in the salad form or sauteed vegetables.
Yeah.
And if you have something similar at each meal time, don't undereat. Don't skip meals.
Okay.
Yeah, that's very important. Even if you know that you're not going to get time, then make your meals, take the meals with you if you're going for conferences or for meetings.
Yeah.
Keep something handy in your bag.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that it's readily available rather than looking for those packet of crisps and biscuits outside.
Yeah.
So keep it very simple. Cook as much as possible at home. Stay away from the ultra processed foods.
Okay.
Because it doesn't do any good to anyone.
Yeah. So we're just heading in the to the end of the podcast. I want to talk about a few things on social media that's going on viral, especially on TikTok and Reels. A lot of the nutrition hacks that the influencers are sharing. Is that good, or people should avoid it?
I would say it depends on the hack. If from your social media, whether it's TikTok, Instagram, LinkedIn, wherever, if you're getting the information, if you're getting education about how to eat healthily, how to stay healthy, how to, about sleep management, stress management, things like that, where you know that they're talking about the basics and it's more holistic information they're giving, it's fine. It's very important to educate yourself. Not everyone has got the bandwagon to understand all these publications and evidences that comes out in the journals. B, they can't even understand the scientific language. So if somebody is breaking that down and giving it to you through social media, understand that, educate yourself, get that knowledge wherever it's possible. At the same time, it can be harmful as well if somebody's talking about quick fixes. So stay away from that. If somebody says lose weight in 7 days, detox diet, take these teas for detoxification or losing weight, and so stay away from any quick fixes. But if you're getting just the information and education, that's not a problem at all.
So something like, if let's say I've seen a video and someone is talking about, I don't know, top 3 drinks to lose weight in 7 days. So basically, they're saying that if you drink these 3 drinks every day for 7 days, you will lose weight. What do you have to say about that? Should we follow that or should we avoid it?
As I said, anything quick fixes is not going to do you any good, because you're just having those drinks, but are they nutritionally complete? Are they nutritionally dense? And again, then you'll be under eating. You'll have under calories. It's going to impact on your hormonal level. It will have an impact on the gut health, on immune system. So any quick fixes, I say stay away from that.
Okay, perfect. That's great. Thank you, Swati, for joining us today and sharing your expertise with us and our viewers. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me on board. Thank you.
Do you have any last words for our viewers? Do you want to share something?
I just say it was a great conversation we had today. Thank you so much for having me on Social Untold platform. I had a really good time. The only thing I'll tell the viewers is that, just keep things very simple. Stay away from all these quick fixes. It's not going to do any good to you. You don't want to create any long-term harms in your body. So look for something, where you can keep things simple. Healthy diet is important, but at the same time, healthy living is also very important. Look out for things where you get stressed out. So look for stress management, sleep management, and exercise is also very important. So thank you guys for having me on board. I really had a good time. great conversation. We've talked a lot about what to do, what not to do. So I just tell the viewers, stay tuned, and you'll have to see the full episode to know what we talked about.
Just before we close, so where can our viewers find you if they want to reach out to you? Where can they find you? Do you have, if you can share any details?
Yeah. So I've got a website, which is www.nutrilogy.co.uk.
Yeah.
I've also got my Instagram by the name of Swati Madan Official. So they can contact me through this, or they can find my contact number through my website, or they can send me an email or message through the website.
Yeah.
So there are different channels they can find me.
Okay, perfect. And we'll leave all these details in the description. So if you want to, you can get in touch with Swati. Thank you so much again.
Thank you. Thank you once again.
And to our listeners, thank you very much for watching today's episode. And if you did find this discussion insightful, please do like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Come on, guys, we need your support. And if you think you know someone who can actually benefit from what we discussed today, please do share this video with them and help them be a little more healthier in their life. Also, guys, we're also available on Spotify. So if you're someone who's always up on the go and want to listen to our podcast instead of watching it, please do click on the link. It's in the description, and we'll see you next time.